Welcome to our channel. Lots of summaries of interesting films. Keep it updated. Press subscribe and turn on notifications. To support us, you can like and share our videos. Enjoy watching.
The movie begins with a review of the last film, in which 6 strangers were tricked into visiting a seemingly innocent escape room hosted by the enigmatic Minus organization. The only survivors, Zoe and Ben, manage to flee and assassinate the game master before deciding to completely expose Minus after finding that their headquarters are in Manhattan. Since the incident involving the previous escape room, Zoe has been receiving counseling. Ben and she have tried to travel to Manhattan, but Zoe has always been afraid of flying because the sight of Amanda dying during the final game haunts her. According to the therapist, Zoe needs to let it go since she perceives clues to the game in commonplace objects like her pen, her guidebook. Ben is persuaded by Zoe to travel to Manhattan in order to carry out their plan to expose Minus. Ben is also troubled by what happened, and he has nightmares in which Minus discovers them in their hotel room and traps them there to their deaths. The two make it to Manhattan and find an empty alley that, according to their coordinates, was busy a few days before. When a drug user steals the compass necklace belonging to Zoe's mother, she and Ben are forced to pursue the offender via the subway. When they become stuck in a metro vehicle, he loses them. The two soon discover that their car separates from the rest of the train, locking them in with Rachel, Brianna, Nate, and Theo along with 4 other strangers. The group quickly discovers that this is yet another Minus game as the train car is left alone in a tunnel. Since they are all veterans of previous Minus games, this is a tournament of champions. The group must play in order to exit the car because the metal is extremely electric. They learn from the puzzles that they must decipher a message in order to move on. They receive a token that aids in their escape for each letter they find. More sparks flare across the automobile as they uncover more letters. Theo unintentionally becomes stuck on a bar and is shocked to death. When Zoe realizes that the sign reads, "Welcome back," she assists the group in making their way out of the car through a hatch. The group enters an elevator and introduces itself while discussing their previous gaming experiences. Nate was a former priest confined with other men of the cloth in a test of their faith, while Brianna was trapped with other influences. The gang is trapped in an underground bank where random tiles are set up to trigger laser grids. Giving them 10 minutes to safely escape, they figure out different puzzles to assist them cross over safely. But Nate decides to play the hero and gives himself up so the group has an opportunity to reach safety. Following Nate's unconsciousness, the gang opens 2 safety deposit boxes bearing the name Sonia in order to collect the following information and determine the best course of action. Just before the entrance vault to the following room closes and the lasers take up the entire space, they bring Nate there. The party arrives at a model beach where they discover a camera that leads to their next piece of information. The gang must hurry quickly to find the next exit as the sand soon begins to engulf their belongings. Nate gets a life raft and a rope and dives under the sand to pull Rachel out after she is sucked under by it. The rope breaks, pulling Nate to his death under the sand as Rachel is being saved. However, Zoe discovers another path through a hole in the lighthouse. The trio discovers an opening through a fridge in the nearby crab shack to the next room. Brianna, Rachel, and Ben follow Zoe because they are unsure about which route is the appropriate one, while they choose to go via the refrigerator. Ben appears to miss his chance and lands in the sand. The lighthouse door is successfully navigated by Zoe and Rachel, who exit. Zoe accuses herself of causing Ben's seeming demise as they leave. Rachel comforts her and explains that she cannot feel any pain or sensations. Thus Minus probably chose some really risky activities for her. They then hear sounds that appear to be coming from outside, which prompts them to go through a manhole and appear to return to downtown Manhattan. However, Brianna makes her appearance and says they are still imprisoned. The challenge in this room has the area set to a timer where acid rain will fall after the countdown expires, and Rachel discovers burns on Brianna's back from the acid rain. As they search for the answers to their survival, the women flee for protection. They locate a phone booth and an umbrella that offer them momentary cover until a cab's door opens. Zoe arrives in time, but Brianna and Rachel do not before the acid rain catches them and kills them. Zoe is brought into what appears to be a child's room. Along with other hints from earlier rooms, she discovers Sonia's diary. When Amanda is mentioned in a quote, she appears to be both alive and well and exits the room. She reveals to Zoe that Minus kidnapped her daughter Sonia and offered to return her in exchange for her assistance in creating the conundrums that the gang has become entangled in. Ben is discovered to be alive, but he is confined to a space that will submerge until Zoe agrees to take over as the next puzzle creator. She declines, and the room starts to fill with water. Since the glass is too hard to break, Zoe locates an open gas line and takes it out with Amanda's assistance in order to burn and extend the metal on the cage in order to weaken the glass and release Ben. Later, the 3 survivors and the bodies of the other 4 victims are discovered by the police. Their testimony is recorded, and a detective returns with Zoe's mother's necklace. In an effort to get Minus, the authorities have been tracking him for some time. In addition to searching for Sonia, they are also conducting raids around the nation. Zoe resolves to finally travel home with Ben, believing their struggle is done. On the flight home, Zoe begins to think that their escape from the game at this point was way too simple. She thinks she sees her therapist as she gets up to use the restroom, but it's not the same person. She is still holding everything that she previously described as clues. Nevertheless, soon, a voice on the intercom informs Zoe that Minus is in charge of the aircraft and that the game ends when they say it will.